for you also, this must be good news, the Carlyle story, right? Obviously, your funding round has been very successful. What are you going to deploy that capital to do? How will you rebuild the industrial base?
Yeah. Hi, Matt, and thanks for having me on the show. This is very exciting news for Saronic, and as you mentioned, very exciting news for the industrial base. Before I jump into what's next for Saronic and what we're going to be doing, it's important to acknowledge that this fundraising really came off the back of, or is a byproduct of the execution of our team over the last 12 months. Just 12 months ago, we raised a $600 million financing round on a $4 billion valuation. That let us open our first shipyard, launch Marauder, which is a 180-foot autonomous ship, start a $300 million infrastructure project into scaling production capacity at that shipyard, and also scale the production of our small USV products, Corsair, which you see right behind me, well into the thousands. Now, as we look forward, what are we going to do with this new capital? We're going to continue to accelerate the production and the delivery of our vessels to the U.S. and allies around the world. We're going to launch new products, new ships, and we're going to continue that investment into the shipbuilding industrial base, invest billions of dollars, create thousands of jobs in the process, and unlock production rates in shipbuilding that we haven't seen in this country since World War II, and do it in a very software-first, technological-first approach. And
it's also, I mean, I wasn't aware until we started reporting on the potential to lift the Jones Act. What a bad state U.S. shipbuilding is in. I mean, we only have like 6 or 7 Navy shipyards, and most of them are here on the East Coast, I think one in California. How are you playing a role in bringing back U.S. shipbuilding, Dino?
You're exactly right. The shipbuilding industry is in crisis right now, and you're seeing this as a priority of the administration. I mean, the White House just put out a maritime action plan to rebuild the maritime industrial base, and that's exactly what Saronic is investing in. When you look at the shipbuilding capacity in this country right now from a commercial perspective, the United States has 0.1% of global shipbuilding capacity. The Chinese can outbuild the United States 230 to 1. And then on the military and defense side, traditional naval destroyers, for example, cost billions of dollars, but also take 6 to 8 years to produce one of them. So how we're looking at deploying our unmanned systems is really around scale. How do we adopt very, very fast in really large quantities at a fraction of the price point that traditional manned platforms are able to be delivered to the military today?
What are the biggest benefits of these drone boats? I mean, I look at this administration seemingly begging our allies to come help out in the Strait of Hormuz with minesweepers, because we have only some wooden-hulled boats out there, right? And obviously with a crew that you don't want to risk with such a dangerous task. Is this where you can play a critical role?
That's exactly right. I mean, when you look at what's happening in the Straits of Hormuz and candidly other maritime environments around the world, what you're seeing are increasingly contested and increasingly complex environments. What unmanned systems really bring to the table is scale, persistence, and risk reduction. And what I mean by that is you can really deploy high numbers of these platforms, again, at a fraction of the price point of traditional manned platforms. You can operate them continuously in these dangerous environments while keeping sailors out of harm's way. That really give naval commanders optionality to combat some of these threats that they're seeing that aren't countered very easily with manned platforms alone.
What is, Dino, we hear so much about the defense industrial base and how we're not building enough here, we're not building fast enough here, or efficiently enough. What is the main bottleneck to producing at scale for you?
For us, we really rethink the problem from the ground up. It's really, how do you redesign the ship so that it's designed for manufacturability? We've taken a vertically integrated approach so that we can ensure that we get to the scale that this country needs. And again, that all starts with the design. Once you have the design in place, then the workforce, the training, everything else needed to build out the capacity, and then the software and the autonomy that's required to power these vessels at the scale that we're building them out. This is true maritime autonomy that is vertically integrated and delivered as a cohesive capability to the end user. That's what's required, that's what's needed, that's what we're building at Saronic.